everyone. My name is Kavita Chandran, and I'm the Assistant Director for Undergraduate Admissions at George Washington University. I'm happy that all of y'all are here watching this video today. And today we're going to talk about 5 things you need to know about the different application types. The first type that I'd like to share with you about is the binding versus non-binding application. What does that mean? Binding means that it's sort of like a contract situation. You would need to get your parents' signature and your counselor's signature, and you would have to sign a binding agreement with the university indicating that if you are admitted to that particular institution, you will be attending that institution. What does non-binding mean? Non-binding, on the other hand, means that you don't have to sign any agreement. You are allowed to apply to as many institutions, and when you apply to a non-binding institution and you receive an offer from that particular institution, you do not have to attend that institution. The second application type that I'd like to share with you about is early decision. What does early decision mean? And I know a lot of y'all tend to ask this question with your counselor. Early decision is an application that students put in ahead of time. They tend to have an earlier deadline. You would also be signing a binding agreement with the particular institution, telling the institution, hey, university, I really like your school and I want to attend your school, thereby I'm signing a contract with this particular school. With early decision, you're actively telling and you're committing to the institution. If you are accepted to your early decision institution, you are required to withdraw from all of the other applications that you have applied to. Another thing with early decision is that you are only allowed to apply to one school early decision. What does that mean? So let's say you apply to a particular institution early decision, you cannot be applying early decision to any other institution. That's how you show your commitment to that specific institution. The next application type that I want to share with you about is early action. Early action means you are again applying to institutions with a much earlier deadline than the regular decision application, which is something I am going to talk about shortly. With early action, you're telling a school you're committed to the school, but you don't have to sign any contracts or commitment. It is not a binding process. You show your commitment to an institution by applying and sending your applications earlier to the particular institution. With early action, you are allowed to apply to other institutions as well. So what does that mean? If you applied early action to one university, you are able to apply early action to another university. There is one caveat here. If you are applying restricted early action to a particular school, you would have to check and see the terms and conditions of the school that you're applying restricted early action to, because that way you might not be able to apply to other schools as under early action. And the fourth application type is something that most of y'all here might have seen or heard. It's the regular decision application. This is a non-binding application process, and it's basically offered by almost all institutions in the United States when you're applying for college. And the general thing to know about regular decision application is that its deadline is much later than the early action or early decision deadline. But one thing I would always emphasize to students to know is that schools might have very different regular decision deadlines. So it's very important for you to keep in mind the school's deadlines accordingly. This is a non-binding option. The one thing I also would share is that May 1st is the general commitment date, which means that by May 1st, if you have received an offer from your regular decision school, you would need to commit before that deadline. And the final application type I'd like to share with all of you is the rolling versus block admissions. What does that mean? Rolling admissions means that once you've submitted your application to the institution, there's a high possibility that you will receive some form of decision from the school within 2 to 4 weeks. And block admissions, on the other hand, means that once the school have received all the applications, so it could be an early action application, early decision, regular decision application, they will send out the decisions via block. So how would you know this? Typically, universities would disclose this information on their website, and it's also important for you to ask when you meet the university reps when they come to your campus and see what type of admissions does the school particularly offer. I really hope this information session has given you the opportunity to come to a decision in terms of guiding you with your application process. If you have any questions, concerns, or if you're interested in applying to our institution, feel free to contact us at gwadm@gwu.edu. Our contact information is available, and we hope to hear from you, and all the best with your application process. Thank you.